Hello and welcome to Hardcast, where we dissect Archer and Armstrong Volume 4, Sect Civil War. I'm Humphrey Erm.
And I'm Christian Claus.
Lifeline. Give me Archer and Armstrong, Volume 4. Honestly, reading through this again, I have to say I'm not particularly fond of it.
Really?
So yeah, yes, personally, because again, this is one of those another one of those volumes that is the post-Humble Bundle ones. For like months I had what's called Archer having left Armstrong and Mary Maria in the far away. So like, yes. Okay, that's kind of how it's been. So that I was like really like, okay, let's see what happens now. And again, with knowledge of what happens later and stuff, which kind of convolutes how I'm reading it now. I have to say it wasn't really, I don't know, it just felt very slightly confusing, weird. I don't know. When I was reading it, I wasn't really engaged in the same way I've been with the other volumes. I'm having a trouble articulating it, even as I was like reading it and then trying to write it up a bit. Because there weren't like anything specific. I mean, there were a few specific things, but not something that I felt, couldn't happen in other books or something. I don't know. So, but it sounded like you liked it, or?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it was confusing, but not any more confusing than any of the other comics that we've read so far. So it was just basically par for course now. So, yeah. I mean, it was great. I mean, I really liked seeing more of these sects and kind of seeing where they come from. And I honestly didn't like Archer in this. I feel a lot of it just kind of made me feel very like this wasn't the same guy that we have gotten to know over the last 3 volumes. And again, maybe he's just having his emo phase or whatever, but I guess I also didn't even really recognize him in a lot of the panels. I mean, he always had the hood up now. He covered the star with his sweatshirt. And I don't know if this was like an artist thing or something, but I always felt like he had a very round face in a lot of the other comics, or at least a rounder face. And in some of the later issues in this volume, he had like really sharp, almost anime type chin. And I don't know, I felt so like, I think maybe this was even like part of it that, the same way like in Death Note, which we've mentioned before, that light was always kind of drawn differently depending on like how crazy he got. Or what he was trying to do. Like, he had this very soft, round face when he was being Light Yagami, but then when he became Kira, he became sharper. It was drawn sharper. And I don't know if this was like part of it, but it just felt really weird to see Archer like this. And yeah, so I felt very distant from him.
Well, I think, narratively, it all makes sense. Like, that I had no issue with. He had this whole breaking out, or whatever you say, with Armstrong and Mary Maria. Like, that felt like part of the course that, the way he left them. I felt, he continued what we'd feel about that. So that didn't feel like it was out of character, but in character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it was in character. Yeah,
Yeah, it was in character, out of character moment.
Yeah.
So that I didn't have an issue with. But on the side of the art, though, because the artist is Carrie Evans. Mm-hmm. Not quite sure how to say the Carrie part there. But what's called? He did the first volume of Harbinger, if you remember.
I don't remember.
Okay, well, it's the same artist. And I didn't really mind his art there. I can't remember reading Harbinger and thinking like, not really fond of this art. But maybe because this is after having had different artists work on this, and this is, I guess, the 4th one now. It kind of got a little bit we kind of got used to certain arts, like art styles already.
Right, right.
So this one felt a bit too much of a departure compared to others, and especially as you mentioned with Archer, even despite being plot reasons, removing his shaved head and his star, immediately like, oh well, we can't really recognize him now.
Exactly. I sometimes really didn't like when he came into frame, so to speak. He, I didn't recognize him. It took me always a while to be like, oh wait, this is him, because depending on the shadows in the picture or like the kind of the lighting of the picture, I guess I would say, it can make him look like he's not even wearing a blue sweatshirt anymore. It might look more black or even red in some of them. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know.
So, no, exactly. But then other artwork as well within there I found kind of odd. Like he seemed to be very fond of using photo backgrounds.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed that, but some panels were very clear. Like when they're out in the desert. So, or when they're going down to the submarine, it's very clear that the submarine was not drawn by hand. It's like a 3D model or an image that he's kind of like manipulated a bit. And again, not like
you think?
I think so. Looking at it, like it has a very different. It doesn't like have brush strokes.
Which one? The one that like when you the splash page or the other one?
Let me look it up myself here.
Like the one where where Armstrong pukes, or the actual like splash page.
Let's see.
Because I think both of them look very hand drawn.
The splash page actually looks hand drawn, but the previous one, if you look at it, like in the third panel, if you like sort of zoom in, you can. And again, this sounds very rude of me now that I'm thinking about it. I don't mean to disparage Carrie Evans as an artist, but I don't know, just. I feel there's something, especially if you look at the water effects too in the first and second panel.
Oh, I have no idea how to move this thing. Stupid fucking. How do I move? Oh, Jesus.
Right. Well, I don't know. You're on a Mac.
I know. I can't wait until I'm not on a Mac anymore. No, but I know what you mean. It has like this very typical photo filter effect on there.
Exactly.
Like, this is like the photo filter effect that you could find like in any kind of cheap on board like picture editor.
Exactly. And again, not like because again, other artists have done that many times. It's a time saver, as well as could actually look good too in terms of what you're trying to do. Yeah. I don't know, it didn't really feel like it meshed all the time. And also he definitely has a certain style that, as you mentioned, besides then not really even been drawing Archer the way you're kind of used to. In terms of the more rounded, as you described it. But I don't know, I find that everyone has, just overall the faces, there's something, I'm having a hard time, and kind of just like as I mentioned, plot-wise within Volume 2, but art-wise too, I'm having trouble saying like what's wrong, because I don't think it's because it's, what's called maybe some thicker outlines or something, if that's even a thing, or what it is. I think it's just certain ways he draws faces.
I really didn't like the way he drew Armstrong.
Yeah, there's something a little off about him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's much more recognizable, of course. He's got a better design anyway, so.
Yeah, but he looks, because the thing is, like with he's in the other volumes so far, he's been very Hollywood fat. Where he is huge, or he is obese in that sense, but it's still like.
Would he be obese?
If you know what I mean? Huh?
Would he be obese?
I mean, if The Rock is obese, then yeah, this guy's obese.
Oh, okay, so it's just pure based on
based on BMI kind of.
All right. Yeah, in that case, yeah, like you said, if The Rock, I didn't know he counts as obese.
Yeah, he counts as obese because I mean he has so much muscle mass that he's
what a fatty.
Yeah. Humphrey, you also count as obese.
No, I don't. The Wii Fit says that I'm just close to being.
When was the last time you were on the Wii Fit?
I don't know. It's more than a week ago.
Yeah, well,
That's all it goes. I'm surprised they didn't have foresight to think to add a little bit more time limits to that.
yeah.
It's been a
No,
year.
but I mean, no, but the thing here is that yes, we've talked about Armstrong's weight quite a bit on this podcast, especially the last episode where he had that shot where he looked really muscular. But in this one, he just looks like, it kind of looks like, I mean, maybe this is the whole idea that he's been trapped in the far away for so long that he has actually like gained weight. But it does look like he's had like 6 bad months where he's just hasn't been taking care of himself, like on Armstrong's level hasn't been taking care of himself, so like even worse than a normal human being. And he's just gotten a bit fatter. He's put on a few pounds, because there's some shots where he just looks so, for lack of a better word, disgusting. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you mean. I'm not sure. I don't think I was that bothered by what's called. I think you pointed it all out, and I agree with you. But I don't think I noticed that on my read through. Like it wasn't something that made me.
Well, I guess it's just something that I don't know. I mean, it's just something that I thought of when I was looking at because he's always, because I do recognize him because of the beard and stuff like that, and I think it was because I was kind of looking forward to seeing him, and then you see him in the first shot that you see him in ancient Egypt, and he's just like, I felt like a little bit unrecognizable, because then there was that one shot where he was just sitting there with a cat, and then I was like, okay, this is him, I guess. And then the second panel of him, so the third panel on that page, is a close up of his face, and he just looks massive, and especially the helmet or the hat that he's wearing kind of distorts it, and he looks more like he kind of looks like Genghis Khan. No, not Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's son from the Netflix series Marco Polo.
Oh, okay, that's kind of like, are you really gonna make split hairs about these old historical people?
No.
Okay, the actor,
in the sense of like, because he has that really thin mustache in that sense, and you don't see his like chin, so I couldn't see like the Van Dyke getting to get. Is it a Van Dyke, or is it a? No, that's a goatee. Wait, goatee's old without the mustache. Anyway, his beard, you don't see the bottom part of his beard. And I couldn't recognize him. I thought that it was someone else for a second. And then when he got like hit by the spear, then I was like, okay, this is him. But I guess that's the problem. I mean, I'm so used to just having one actor play one thing,
Well, definitely. I mean, and again, but this is where it works well, though, as I said, with Armstrong. He has a much more, even here, I feel he has a much more unique design. I mean, he has body type-wise, because there aren't that many what's called large, heavy-set characters. We're kind of easier to point out that, okay, that's probably him then, even if the artist is different.
Yeah.
While with Archer then, it's, as you said, you remove his shaved head, remove his shirt, and, well, yeah, I don't know. I guess he's still skinny, kind of slanky, but, you don't really see it.
Yeah. I mean, just like with that, that priest that they stop, and like a couple of pages later, and when he's talking about like that guy looks like Archer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was looking at him going like, no, not really. I mean, because Archer just has such a normal face. I mean, maybe they were trying to poke fun at that or something. I don't know, but like, because again, he didn't have the hair, and he didn't have the star on his shirt, so it's just like, no, he just looks like some other guy. Like, as far as I know, the guy with the green hat from the panel before looks more like Archer than the priest. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, I just feel bad like harping on it, because I don't think the art is bad in of itself.
No, it's not bad.
So it's just based on what we've kind of gotten used to design-wise for the characters. And then, kind of seeing it now, it does kind of make a disconnect when reading.
Well, this is like the thing where we talk about is like, I never like to say that anything is bad. Like, I'm not saying that the art is bad. I'm not saying that this comic is bad. I mean, if you don't like a movie, then you don't like the movie. It doesn't make it automatically bad, because a lot of stuff, if they were bad, they wouldn't become the blockbuster hits that they are. So in some sense, what we're discussing here is that we don't like the choices that were made. And again, as we were saying, the art is not bad. The art is actually really good, but the choices that were made, those are the kinds of things that we have problems with right now, where we're kind of wondering, like, well, are they the best choices? And that's what we're discussing. And yeah, so my choice would be to kind of, I mean, for me, a choice would be to have Armstrong kind of keep a certain weight, you know? I mean, he doesn't have to be muscular or anything like that, but just like, he fluctuates like 20 kilos, like 35 pounds or 45 pounds, I don't know, like every other issue. So it's just kind of confusing I don't know, it's just frustrating. I don't know why, but it's just frustrating.
He's got an eating disorder, Chris.
Yeah.
And I'd appreciate you don't make fun of that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I mean, again, I think we've kind of said what we wanted regarding that. So, but back to what's called plot elements that I felt, and in the sense that you're talking about choices, this became another one of those things we've discussed before, where I feel there's more material that they could have done with the previous setup before changing what's called, like a status quo.
Mm.
So, I mean, this ends with Archer now the leader of all the remaining sects.
Is it all the remaining sects, or?
Well, not including PRS, of course, since, they didn't want to be part of it anyways. And also...
Well, I mean, I was just kind of wondering, because, I mean, I thought that... I didn't realize that this was like everyone was there. I mean, I assumed that, the sects would have like sent their armies there to get the man who should not be named or whatever.
So yeah, well, if we look at, because on the page 16, so when we see that spread of all the sects,
yeah,
we have the 3 that are what's called removed, which we remember from the volumes themselves.
No. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
talking about within the sects.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at the end, it seemed very much like Archer was just like, hey, I did this stuff, and everyone was like, hey, you're pretty cool, let me join you. I just thought that it was like the armies were joining him.
Oh, yeah, the individuals, not the...
Yeah, the individuals, not the actual group, like the leaders, because, I mean, all the leaders are very probably did not come there.
I'm actually not sure now that you're mentioning it. I mean,
so,
this could be my...
Well,
I think this could be my knowledge of the later ones in that sense.
Ah, okay. Well, because it just feels like they're... I mean, why would they go as... like, first of all, why would the leaders go? And second, why would the armies be able to decide who the whole group follows?
So, yeah, no, you make a very valid point there. So I didn't consider that. Again, maybe because I know what happens later, so... let's go.
So you just spoiled me.
So I suppose I did, but
you.
For me, it was pretty self-evident in that sense.
Well, I guess it wasn't.
Yeah. So, but that's the kind of thing there. But what I wanted to mention was, because when we look at the spread with all the sects, besides some real nice little things in terms of like the vine being part of it.
Yeah, that was weird.
So I like that. They kind of make it mysterious enough in the sense of if you're not reading Exo Manowar, it's kind of like, who are the Vine? And they're obviously part of that. What they're showing there obviously is the mind meld thing, or the hive mind. But my main point was that these things, these ones are now under, except for of course the sisters, but most of the other ones are now a part of Archer.
Or dead.
So yeah. But what I mean is, I just feel it's kind of like, but we could have had so many adventures of them trying to infiltrate the others or facing off against them on their own.
Oh yeah.
It just feels like, I don't know, it's kind of like some anime sometimes when they just dump a bunch of characters on you. So it's kind of like, oh, here's the new here's the new bad guy group, that we're showing off in one episode immediately. And oh crap, there's so many characters, and then maybe they're killed off a little too soon before we can care really.
Right.
I mean, a lot of these were mentioned before by name, but we didn't really know who they were, like the Black Block. So, and the gnomes were mentioned, as I remember, but we didn't really get to see them.
Yeah, I didn't even get that gnomes thing.
The picture there on the spread, or
yeah, I didn't get it.
It's them being mean.
I'm sorry, I'm really an idiot, but like, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't realize that it was gnomes of Zurich. I just kind of, I mean, again, I just read through it and I was like, oh, Zurich, and I was like, oh, Zurich. I was like, oh, cool. That's that's cool that they're in here. Like a German thing, and I was like, oh, it was probably some sort of Nazi thing. Okay, well, and then I just continued, and then I didn't even realize that there were gnomes until then later when they were all fighting. And I was like, why are they all so small? Why are they all midgets? And then I was like, and then they said the name again, gnomes of Zurich. I was like, oh god, I'm such an idiot. They're all midgets, or they're all gnomes, I guess. But yeah, no, but when I was looking at this spread, I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Like, so many things that, like, so many ideas popped into my head that of like all these yeah, like just you were saying, all these stories that could be told with all these people, like what the hell is with the black box or the black block? Like why, what is that?
Yeah, with their emoticon faces.
Yeah, like what, and then there's just the what was it, the hashish eaters. Like, are you seriously, really? I think the only ones that were like the most boring ones, boring ones outside the religious sects, is the master builders.
Well, I guess that's supposed to be specifically Freemasons.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I was just looking at them going like, okay, that seems boring, but okay. And then later in the comic, I see them shooting lasers out of their hammers or something. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. Wish we could have had stories with them.
Exactly. It just feels, I don't know, it's like I said, I'm happy that they feel they have enough material and are brave enough to shake things up. But I feel sometimes that sometimes it feels that they think they have a longer history than they do, publishing wise. Like when they do these kinds of things, like at DC and Marvel, who have such a long publication history, where they can kind of like bring up old things. Like if they did something like a DC where some writer figured out that what, there's a lot of secret organizations in the DC universe. What if they're all like working together? And then they maybe they managed to find some things in the old comics that would actually support that, and then they fudge up whatever they want. They're like, oh, that's so cool. And then we're not upset when it just kind of, ends.
Right.
But here's like, who are the hashish eaters? Like, we know nothing except the panels they were introduced here.
Right.
It's, I'm intrigued. I'm curious. But, there's like, there's nothing really given there. And it just feels like a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Because considering, if you take like the Null, which was the entirety of Volume 2, of Archer and Armstrong. I mean, that was, a whole...
Yeah.
That I kind of wanted something like that. Again, you don't have to have a whole volume for each and every one if you don't have material for it, but that's more kind of what I was expecting. Maybe more of a, like the series was more about taking down each and every one of them.
Right. But the thing is also, I mean, the only problem with that is that you're kind of setting yourself up for something that might not be able to be paid off. It's just the same thing that I have with the problem I have with DC and in some sense Valiant coming out with all these, like planning out all these movies before they even know if it's going to be a success. I mean, the thing is, Marvel has earned that right to be able to tell us like 10 years in advance what movies are going to come out. DC hasn't done that yet. And my problem is, again, like with the DC, what happened here is that, Batman versus Superman came out and it was supposed to be a huge success, but it wasn't. And now they have this whole lineup of movies that people are expecting and want. And now they're like, oh shit, we kind of need to do this now. And I think if you're gonna start a comic as well, where you have, what is it, 12 different groups, 3 of them which are already dead or taken care of, you still have so many sects that you have to go through. And if you do say, okay, for every 4 issues, we're going to take down one of these sects, people, and say the ratings go down of the comic, or they're not, the sales numbers aren't enough, they then decide to discontinue it. And then people are like, but I was waiting for them to get to the Gnomes of Zurich. Like, I want to see that. Or why didn't I see the Black Block? Or why didn't I see this or that, or the other thing? And then they get pissed. They kind of destroy people's expectations. And then if they decide to start something new again, where they're like, look, we're going to have a huge crossover thing. We're going to do a huge thing that's going to take a couple of issues, like 10 issues or 8 issues or whatever, how you have to do it to make them into bundles. People won't believe it anymore. They won't invest their time and money into it, because then they think, well, Valiant has made a name for itself for not pulling through with all these things, so I'm not going to follow it. That could be one possibility as why they didn't want to do anything long-winded.
So that's a possibility. It's hard to tell. We discussed that a bit with during Shadow Man, as I was talking about a bit with the publication history with it.
Yeah.
So, which again, I have not found it much from themselves. Obviously, they won't really release a press release saying, "Yeah, no, it turns out it wasn't doing so well." So, they won't admit that in that sense. But I don't know. Just kind of like curious with these things how they plan it out. I'd really love. I mean, besides besides this topic in terms of how to decide how to split it up. Obviously, it would be nice just to hear all these creative people, tossing ideas between each other and trying to work together to make all these comics work.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just feels like, because I have the page, the spread open here.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like, this could have been so much fun.
Yeah.
And again, some of them, from what we have there, the sisters are still a thing. And now with Mary Maria leading them, that's cool.
Or them following her.
Yeah, true.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, because she's a badass.
Yeah.
So I'd actually realized now, I think there was no mention of the Church of Retrology throughout the rest of the volume. So, but
which one were they?
It's the top on the right side.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't think, from what I could tell, they were nowhere there.
No, I couldn't see them either.
So, but if I remember correctly, I think these actually get a whole volume for themselves later. And that was one of my favorite volumes.
All right, cool. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's volume 6, so 2 more after that.
So can you explain to me who those assassin-looking guys are?
I don't know. Which ones?
The ones that killed the or bombed the 1%ers.
I was not entirely sure about what was happening there either.
Yeah, because it kind of the way that they were talking about it. I mean, so.
Oh no! Wait, now I get it. Yeah, of course. Now I remember.
Okay, because I thought I just realized I thought I was just being stupid and I forgot who they were.
Yeah, no.
It looks like there's like servants to the sect.
Well, they've all worked at different ones. They're part of the Black Bloc. Remember?
Yeah, I know that, but like, why would they allow people from the Black Bloc into their meeting?
I don't think they knew that, because the guy who
I know. Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. Who are these? Who are they supposed to be? Who are they supposed to be in disguise?
Oh, they're supposed to be. I believe they're just the soldiers for 1%.
Well, just for the 1%, because they talk on the bottom, like when they're all together, they talk about being in different sects.
Yeah, but I think they just put on the uniforms for that. Because if I remember correctly, these are the soldiers that were in, or the guards that were in Volume 1. I'm actually just going to double check now.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, is it just for the 1%? Because I'm thinking, because part of me is thinking that these are all like everyone in the sect is using the same type of guards. And that's why they're all dressed the same. And then they get together and now they're talking about how horrible it is being at different sects, because it feels like they're kind of infiltrating, dressed up as the soldiers, and then it turns out that they're actually from the Black Bloc.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just kind of checking because you make a good point because they don't really fit like design wise. They don't really fit the 1%. Like, there's nothing. Not that they have to have the animal heads, but there's like nothing indicating that they're part of them.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking here now. They're introduced in the first issue. They come in and gas after the what's called bar brawl between Archer and Armstrong. They come in and gas them. And they are the guards in the dungeon.
See?
So for the 1%ers.
For the 1%ers, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I'm just like I don't want to reread the whole volume now. While
maybe
podcasting.
maybe they're when they're talking to each other. Because this is the kind of problem right here, is that. Because if I'm looking at it now, again, in the 25th page, like on there's multiple of these guys, of these guards, in the background, but not prominent. So I didn't really like pick up on them the first read through. Then of course one of them becomes prominent because he then handles the bag and stuff like that, which is also very like on the side, like. He's cut out in all the panels that he's handling the bag. I mean, obviously, so that we don't, because it's supposed to seem like he's unimportant.
Yeah, well, it's a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. But then when the explosion happens, we just see one of them. So now there's only one of them walking back. So then,
right, but that makes sense to how I was saying then, Chris. Because we see there on the page with the page where it says Wall Street and Mary Maria, and we can see that we have 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah, there's
5.
5 of those guards.
Yeah.
So they give the what's called satchel to one of them, of course, and that's where he puts it in. Yeah. But only one goes out. So I think that's just the thing then, that they are the what's called the 1% soldiers, and they simply are the Black Bloc that infiltrated.
So those
other ones guys weren't Black Blocs. They were normal, like loyal guards.
So then why? So this is my problem. So then why are the 3 people who are hanging out in the hideout? Why are they dressed in that uniform then?
I guess they were that before or something. I don't know. It's
but this is the I
agree.
Thing.
It's not like, entirely.
That's why I'm thinking that each of these guys, because the thing is, they're talking about having infiltrated the other sects. That's what they're talking about.
Oh, so that's the part. So you're wondering if these are like some all-purpose mercenaries.
Exactly. Because they're all wearing the same clothes. Because if the one guy who's talking about when he's at the hashish eaters, if he was wearing like a reggae outfit, then I would think, okay, that's how he infiltrated that place. And the other guy, I don't know, what was it? Yeah, because he was at the Master Builders. If he was wearing a Master Builders outfit, then I'd be like, okay, that's where he was then. But because they're all wearing the same one, it makes me feel like all of these mercenaries, like this is like a mercenary group that works for the people in the sect. And they all use the same like disguise to infiltrate these sects. Do you see where my confusion comes from?
No, I get what you mean. Again, maybe for the next podcast, I'll have looked up a little bit to see, because I'm genuinely curious myself now. Because it's one of those things also where they have a really cool design, those guards.
Oh, they have an amazing design.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I'd have to like look through, because I did like a really quick scrub through volume 1, and they were only there in what's called relation to the 1%.
But does this maybe have some sort of? I mean,
then
do they expect us to? Yeah, but do they expect us to know the background of like the previous Marvel universe, like the 90s Marvel, not Marvel, a Valiant universe?
No. That's the big thing here, and they can't either, as I mentioned before. They have a lot of characters that were building blocks for that universe that they can't use.
Yeah, exactly, but that's kind of what I'm feeling, is that like I don't know anything about these mercenaries or these. I mean, and we've been reading everything so far, right?
Yeah.
So we haven't missed anything. And I mean, I know that I don't have the best memory of this kind of stuff, but I'm so confused. And I don't know why I've been fixating on this thing for 10 minutes now. We should totally move on to something else because this is getting ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much people appreciate it that long. It's an interesting concept.
It's just, no, it's just sorry. I hate this kind of stuff. I really hate this kind of stuff where.
But if but if any of our loyal listeners know the answer to this, feel free to at Christian. Christian D. Claus. Yeah, I was about to say underscore, but that's me.
No, it's Christian D like the letter.
Yeah. So tell him what it is, and I'll check it out too. Then, because I'll probably be alerted.
Oh, you have me on alert.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right then. But anyways, let's see here. Do you have anything you'd want to say, like from your something else that you have that bugged you or that you liked, or?
I've already said it all, man. I've gone way too long on my stuff. I've talked about Armstrong's weight. I've talked about those guards. I think if we bring up another point, I think I'm going to go for another 5 minutes. Oh, one thing that did annoy me, and I liked it and annoyed me as well, the beer stats. I loved it, and I hated that they didn't do anything with it.
Oh, that it wasn't anything more than just fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved if there was some sort of payoff to it. I don't know what the payoff could have been.
Oh, isn't it just that he pukes?
But that's not a payoff. And also, why did they go back in time to Vienna to get beer?
Well, to get it when it's fresh.
No, they supposed to go to Bavaria, to Weinstefan.
Oh, like that.
The oldest brewery in the world. That is literally like 50 kilometers away from me.
Well, yeah, but it's still there, Chris. So you can get it in the present. It's about taking the things you can't get anymore.
No, come on. You got to get the 1000th year anniversary is coming up soon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my dad has told me that he doesn't care in what condition he's in. If he's alive, dead, or in a wheelchair or whatever, he wants to go there.
Attaboy.
So, yeah.
So, but it kind of brings up a little bit of the things, because I felt it's been very negative right now. We've been very confused and harping on the art and stuff like that. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about some things that the things I liked about it. And the pub crawl, definitely. It's not something that I can relate to.
No, not at all.
So, but I like the idea of it's something I kind of like. You take something sort of, I guess you'd call it that mundane thing. People do it everywhere. But then to give it this twist, in this case, time travel.
Yeah, that was actually hilarious. I mean, I love the idea of really just doing a pub crawl through time.
Exactly.
That's something we should see on Doctor Who.
So, well, that's the thing. This really feels like, if it was a more... it's hard to say it's a more adult Doctor Who, considering how dark and serious it gets.
Yeah.
I mean, is it more adult if they're drunk and swear or whatnot?
Yeah.
No, it kind of struck me there when I was saying it. Yeah, but more adult. And actually, holy shit! I'm surprised it's a kids show.
Actually, you could totally make a movie out of that, couldn't you?
A pub crawl through time. Actually,
yeah, I mean, they made a movie out of a pub crawl. They made the what was it called? This is no.
That's the other one. At World's End, I think.
At World's End, yeah.
I was just thinking that if you do that, again, maybe
that, yeah, you do that, but just through time, and that would be really interesting. I mean, it could be, I don't know, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I find comedy,
a documentary, like a history documentary.
Well, that too. So, but I kind of like the idea of just kind of like a fun, what's called like a comedy. So just following these, maybe not something like Bill and Ted, but more of the sense of people who aren't like historian. But then going through this whole thing where they actually get to try this stuff out.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Because especially, again, like the first one there, this red ale. So I'm assuming it's something that, no one has anymore in that sense, or knows how to make the way it was done. I mean, heck, even what's called the cups they're drinking from, like, oh, wow, no one drinks like that anymore.
Nope.
So, but that's the kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun, all these little things. So even then,
I love the name of it though too, the 3,000 year binge.
Exactly. Well, you have all the time travel.
Yeah.
But what's called the other things I liked, there was a lot of good comedy I felt. Like in the what's called the beginning of that chapter with the 3,000 year binge, the slapstick with Armstrong getting a spear through his throat.
Yeah.
There's I don't know, it's one of those things I'd love to see in live action. Like it would be gruesome, but there's just something with a guy kind of oh hell, let's go. Oh, I'm sorry, hitting these women that he was
bashing the women in the face,
and then turns around to apologize to them, and then hits the other guys. It's just such a again, it showcases his whole power.
Yeah.
How kind of and yes, how it's amusing with it, and also really in the first issue. So when Archer meets up with the PRS, I'm not sure if it was specifically going for what's called Frank Miller Dark Knight Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
but it gives that kind of thing with his narration
the
boxes.
Lightning.
Well, the lightning especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they did the pose, the one.
Yeah.
Then definitely, but what I what's called
again, the whole the Knight friended me on Facebook.
Exactly, that's what I was looking for here.
Yeah, the Knight follows me on Twitter. We are totally BFFs.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, and that's what I feel it made sense. This whole out of character in character.
Yeah.
Or in character out of character, whichever order makes sense.
Some call it freedom dough. Some call it funnel cakes. I call it justice fuel.
Exactly.
But again, this is also something where I feel it's a little bit weird and unnecessary. I mean, again, I get that it's a comedy, but I feel the choice was very weak to make that the comedy. The comedy felt more natural with the spear through the neck than having powdered donut on your face.
Well, I guess it's because it's an extra thing. There hasn't really been anything to showcase that Archer loves funnel cakes. Yeah,
and that he eats messily or anything like that. And also it's raining, so I don't care how big your hood is, you're gonna get rain on your face, and there's not gonna be any funnel cake powder on there.
Well, again, that to me is one of those things where I don't care. Yeah. But I agree. Yeah. I agree. That's what I mean. There's fun things like that, as well as well, again, yes, the what's called the 1% as usual as well. The fact that they just readily accept the 30, literally 30 pieces of silver.
Yep.
So another little, I don't know, there's a good moments.
Yeah.
So
I also like that they're talking about time travel a little bit, or the way that they're setting up time travel here, about the whole thing that the past will not allow itself to be changed. Again, I like that they're setting up rules now, because that's as I told with you, as soon as I found out that there was time travel in this, I got a little bit iffy about it. Well, because again, that's the problem. You can't explain a lot of time travel, because again, it's impossible as far as we know, and it probably is. But I like it when they say stuff, and again, you don't have to explain it in any way, but they have to say, if this guy who knows everything about time and is a time travel and all that stuff, if he says that the past does not allow itself to be changed, then we know, okay, whatever happens, it will not change the course of history. And that's good for us. We don't have to know why, we just need to know that it does. They're setting up rules for the world, and that's good. And I also think the way that they travel through time is pretty interesting.
Well, it's a little bit more fun than haphazard. The fact that you have to kind of be on the clock, so which fits in the whole time travel thing. So it's not in their control.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's still muddy enough that you don't have to question too much of where and when they appear. Because so far I haven't really understood that. So wait, is it just that they happen to get them to the right spot all the time, or can they somewhat control once they find one of those?
Well, I think it's one of those things that it's kind of like a bus. It comes at a certain time, you have to be there to get on the bus, and then you can get out of the bus wherever you want.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe it's one direction. Okay, this one, it's when you check the end station, is it the future or the past?
Yeah, exactly.
And then and also the location wise seemed to be iffy, since Archer mentioned that when Armstrong woke up, that they couldn't arrive exactly where they needed to. This was the closest they could.
Yeah.
Which again, a nice little, just a bit different with the concept.
Yeah. And also I like it when they were in Vienna. I just like it where they had to be in a certain location as well.
Yeah, stop.
And yeah, and that could be, I mean, that could be really nice in future episodes for like conflict. And it gives a nice conflict in the sense of, I mean, I don't know how often these things come around.
They seem to do it often enough.
Okay, because that's kind of what I'm thinking is just like, it would be kind of a nice conflict, because that's always the problem with if your main characters are in danger because they're protected by the plot. But something like this where they have to be at a certain place at a certain time, or else they're going to be stuck in the past for another half a year, or like whatever, even just like a month would be annoying. That would be an interesting kind of conflict where it's a failable mission, in the sense of then our heroes won't be dead, but they will still have failed at something big. So I don't know. I kind of like these rules that they're setting up with time travel right now.
We're gonna love them, because to me that part, especially the pub crawl part, just made me like want to read Ivar Time Walker again.
Okay.
So it's quite a few. It's quite a while off. So
shame.
So, but it was really good. It was 3 volumes.
But we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, but then there's really fun because it's exactly that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
But also, as you mentioned, with the whole about waiting, I read through all of the original Archer and Armstrong issues when there was a sale on Comixology.
The 90s version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Ivar pops up every so often. And they actually had one sequence there where I can't remember where he is, if he's in the present or in something like sometime 20th century, I can't remember. But he's kind of like on a rooftop waiting for the portal to open. And this like landlord comes out to go like, "What are you doing here? So, get out of here." And I will, just give me another 2, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and then he like pushes at him to get him away, and then the landlord travels in time instead of the Ivar. And I can't remember, but I believe it was something like, now I have to wait another month or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So again, I don't know, but otherwise they seem to be very convenient.
Yeah.
Especially now that he has that compass thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine, it's we don't want to have like all the time explaining like how they figure out where to go.
Yeah.
So, but from what I've seen from both the old comics and the new ones, so it's more of a beat the clock kind of thing all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
So, which again, when it's about time travel, it just feels it fits thematically. So, but yeah. Let's see. I think that's about it from my end here. So anything else would be more like speculation about the later things. Did you read a preview at the end?
I did.
So yeah, I was kind of like, oh, was this the volume with this issue in it? And then I didn't realize it was just a preview.
Yeah.
So kind of, I don't know about spoilers in that sense, but but yeah, that'll be explained later.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks interesting. I can't wait to read that. One thing that did annoy me was one of the, the Harbinger number 20. Because Harbinger number 20, they had like a teaser in here too. On page 97.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, so sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was the next issue already.
And it was kind of like, oh whoa, Harada's coming in.
Yeah, I was like, what? Because again, the issue ends, and then there's like a kind of looks a little bit like a cover, but then again, I guess it was the end cover, the end slate or whatever. And then I just read on, and it was like, oh, okay, Spider Chest, okay. And especially because I was like 2 months from now. Oh, God, what? Wait, man, is this one of those things? Because just before we had like a 6 months from now kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had 2 months from now. I was like, wait, is it now 2 months from the 6 months, or is it 2 months from the same time? Like, are we 4 months before? Yeah. And then I'm reading, like, who's this old man? Like, I thought, is this one of the Sect guys? Is he coming in? Okay, weird. And then getting in, it's like, what? Harada? What? Wait, this old guy's Harada? Huh? And then he changes into the young one. I was like, what? And then it's just, and then it goes back to the line art or the inkings. And I'm like, wait. Oh shit, that was make a bigger thing out of it. Like, actually put a page on that says this is a preview or whatever. And I don't know.
No, I agree. And also I feel, obviously they want to, as a preview and like any commercial in a sense, it does spoil you about its existence.
Yeah.
Oh, God, spoilers. I didn't know this thing existed. But in this case, since we're all reading Harbinger as well, this one gives off some stuff then that we haven't gotten to yet. So this kind of makes it a little bit more like, okay, so now we know this is going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And there was kind of a big thing about it. Like, Harada, what was it? What was he doing? Giving up or something? Or like...
Well, revealing himself.
Yeah. Oh, man. Can I just state one thing? Because I just saw this in the next issue. So in issue 17, right on the first page, between the first and the third page, or the fourth page, if you count the spread as 2 pages, again, I just going to do this real quick to go back to it. Armstrong gains about 20 kilos.
Okay, so which page?
Page 107 in our PDFs.
I don't know about that.
No, but look at him. Look at him in that shot where he says "or not," right? First of all, Archer, completely unrecognizable. He has cheekbones, and you don't see his hair or anything else, or the star. Don't recognize him. Armstrong in the back has also cheekbones, very thin face, and then if you look on page 106 in the last panel on the bottom, completely fat face.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean by that. But we said not enough about that.
Yeah, I know, we talked enough about it. I was just like scrolling through it and I was just like, what? And here again, here's where you can also see in page 107, you can see Archer with the red sweatshirt because of the lighting. So very confusing, everything. So,
and actually that's to put in like a last kind of moment as well here. Because I do find that, I feel it's a nice kind of vulnerable position for Armstrong here. Because it's one of those things where it does get tricky when you have a character who's supposed to be immortal.
Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, how do you make things, how do you put tension in there? And as he has mentioned before, his immortality comes from basically just being so full of life. There's so many lives in him. So the idea of it then being able to sort of, as they seem to be doing there, like they're killing him over and over. If they could keep it up, would it eventually, kill him? As well as just, it's a very sad picture. I mean, I think here it works really well with the way he's drawn.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's like a burn mark from the explosion. It's like, it feels very, when I was reading it, I got like, obviously I got the emotion anyways reading things. But here was really like, oh, like it's very like I felt like very sick seeing it. So
okay, dude.
No, but like the page 113, the last panel there, they're stepping on him and he's got a bullet hole through his cheek, and it's a very like God. So and again, I feel that was a very well done way of then having Archer finally come to his senses and jump in and sir.
Yeah.
So, but all right. I think we'll leave it at that then. So I think we had our say about what's called Armstrong's body weight.
Yep. And Mary Maria.
I haven't talked too much about her, what I think.
Well, no, but like, I just wanted to add that, damn. I look forward to seeing more of her.
I'm sure you do. All right. But that was the 21st episode of Hardcast, detailing the Archer and Armstrong Volume 4. For more content from me and Chris, follow us on Twitter at Humphrey_Aram and at Christian D. Claus. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or listen to us directly on valianthardcast.podbean.com. Catch us later for our next